after talking to different online entrepreneurs, I realized that they don't understand how YouTube works or how to use it to its full potential, which is interesting because to me, I've been making videos since I was 10. So the process and everything is systemized. And I even now help entrepreneurs get leads from YouTube. So instead of making a paid course or charging $1,000 for a one-on-one call, I'm making this video. We're gonna go through everything from ideas, scripting, thumbnails, even using AI in the process. I'm gonna be giving a lot of resources so that this video is actually applicable and not just theory like 99% of other educational videos. I'm gonna leave the timestamp so you can jump exactly where you want. And if you see me looking over here, it's just script or slides. Exhibit A. So, YouTube's goal is very simple: keep people watching and satisfied. That's why packaging matters so much, thumbnails and titles. But we'll talk about them later because the first thing we need to actually establish is the brand. This isn't the hottest framework in the video, but based on my experience, it's what I believe you need. You can think of them as blinders, on this horse. They make him locked in on the path. And it's the same thing with YouTube. It's just meant for you to not get distracted by other things and to stay locked in on the main goal. Every decision that stems from that is meant to achieve the goal. And the first step is very simple: be clear on what you want to discuss, ideally the sub niche. It's largely connected to your business and your main offer, and be clear on how you'd like your brand to look. This is very, very important. And so, obviously, we start with the goal. Then, what do you want to be known for actually? Like, what's your label? You can think of it like that, or just what you want to be known for. What can you leverage right now? Your stories, the case studies, the clients you've had, and other stuff, and then you take action today. And so, just like the biggest educational entrepreneurs, they all started with one clear topic that aligned with who they were and what they did. Like Ali Abdul started teaching people how to get into medical school, then into productivity and business. Imagaji started, he started with fitness actually, but then like more like he focused on agency, then how to make money online and self-improvement. Then now it's more like personal branding, and maybe there's even AI there, but yeah. This may sound very basic, yet it's still one of the number one pieces of advice to give, if not the number one, even by other consultants like Kyle Bronson, who is a former strategist who works with Gary Vaynerchuk and the Hermosis. And for the branding side of things, what you want to be associated with and where you want your brand to end up. Because that's what branding is. And this will help you make the most optimal decisions. For example, like Alex Hermosi, he's known as the $100 million man. He's the business guy. But at a different point, like early in his career, he was known for killing it in the gym industry. But then he wanted people not to just associate him with gyms, but also business. And here we are right now. He had that vision and he executed on it. Iman Gadji, for example, he's currently known for personal branding, but actually, like, personal branding became a byproduct of becoming really, really good at marketing on YouTube and building his own brand. And so naturally, people were interested in his brand because of that. And so, like, he didn't actually have to create the demand. Other entrepreneurs wanted his systems and frameworks. And so, like, he was just like, okay, I'm the personal brand guy. Let's just transition to personal branding right now. As a little exercise, you can try to summarize your future brand in a sentence or a slogan, or you can go through it like this: what do I want to be known for, like the labeling, what can you leverage right now, and how can we show instead of telling. And the beauty of YouTube today is that people want actionable, real stories from people actually doing the work, not just recycle advice from ChatGPT. And I want to give an example by this guy. He's re-endorsed and he's like an eight-figure entrepreneur. And what's really, really interesting about what this guy did, instead of actually just talking about productivity in a general sense, he leaned in more to what he knows and what his company does, teaching people to become peak performance and flow states. So scientifically backed advice. And that works. And in case of other people, they could see like, oh, nobody is really succeeding with flow state content. Maybe we should make general productivity content. And, instead of seeing that as a red flag, he and the team he hired saw it as an opportunity. They noticed a gap in the market. People were experiencing these problems, but the traditional productivity advice was not working for them. And we'll get more into that when it comes to competitor analysis, but just to give you an idea. And that's exactly what most people miss. They don't look for opportunities because they don't really analyze what's going on in their space and what's not. Or they know and they just start copying blindly. without knowing the context. That's really important. This first section of the video is really more about getting you to understand the importance of the context. If you'd like a more in-depth template guide to make your own strategy, I've got it in my private group for entrepreneurs. It's first link in the description. There will be other resources I'll be sharing as well, and you can know them throughout the video. So next section is about like ideas, and there will be like something as well for the thumbnails. There will be something, there will be a calendar, and so on and so on. Now that you have an idea of what your brand should look like, you can start by selecting your core topics or formats, a maximum of 4. Now, to be honest, at least like have some formats in mind, like breakdowns or systems or debunking myths or reaction. For example, I really like, a lot of experts could make debunking myths formats in a reaction way. For example, if you're, I don't know, neuroscientist, neuroscientist reacts to popular advice about something specific, about self-improvement, whatever. And by that, you can just leverage your authority and make reaction videos and actually give advice and debunk myths. So that's one way. Breakdown, as I mentioned. Ideally, I suggest going with something you're excited to make, because this is like, you can get results in the short to midterm, but at the same time, you'd like to have fun to be able to sustain it for a longer period. Exhibit B. Now, let's talk about ideas, which is, in my experience, one of the biggest problems you guys suffer from. And I know it's firsthand because I've talked to you, I've helped you. I mean, not you specifically, but you're kind. And now, to be clear, I'm talking about long form videos. The same applies to short form content, but long form is better in terms of building an audience that actually buys. Just gonna be honest, I'm not that much of an expert in short form content. I'm not an expert at all. And so let's get into the types of long form videos. There are 3 levels of videos actually. And level 1 is attraction. Videos meant to get views. This is the top of funnel, exposure, introducing people to a new concept, like flow state. It's like the top of funnel, something that will get you the eyeballs. Some people could think, oh, like, I just want to make niche videos. Like, yeah, sure, you could make niche videos, but those videos doesn't mean like you could make top of funnel videos in a sub niche, if you know what I mean. And I'd rather have more eyeballs and then filter them. So then it becomes the question of, are they able to pay on all of that? So get more eyeballs and they'll filter them. Number 2 videos is nurturing videos. This is the middle funnel where you make people more familiar with you, and you just keep yourself more exposed to them. Then we have conversion videos. This is the bottom funnel. Like, you can make videos that are just meant for conversion. And I want to give an example by this channel of Iman Ghazi. So this channel is literally meant for him to convert his audience to clients. This is like the sole purpose of the channel, to get you into his program. Now that you know the type of videos that exist, I'm going to share with you 4 ways to get great ideas based on data. So, it's not just ideas for the sake of ideas. The first one is actually easy. It's called problem farming. And you simply focus on solving the problems of your audience. Ideally, problems that nobody else in the space is solving or addressing. And this is a very, 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 very important. Or ideas related to their goal. Like, this is how you fill a gap in the space. Let's come back to our example over here. You see, there's a lot of content about productivity, but Ryan Doris is, known for flow state. And that's what his channel is about. It's not that his audience is just lazy, but most of them work a lot of time without doing anything productive at the end of the day. And that's largely because they don't know how to get into a flow state. And that's the mechanism of Reendorse. It's a unique mechanism. And number 2, you could look for inspiration from other niches. For example, this guy is Ryan Matthews. This is Patty Galloway. So Ryan took inspiration from Patty to making videos. You kind of see like the thumbnails are similar, kind of. But difference is that Ryan makes videos about people's funnels. Patty makes videos about people's YouTube channels. And so you can notice formats in other niches that your niche doesn't use and capitalize on it. Boom. Number 3, you can cheat by using software. Mainly there's the software called 1of10.com, which is very famous software by now in the space. But if you don't know, here it is. And it helps you identify the outlier ideas in your niche, the most successful videos in your niche. Now, to be clear, this just helps you identify those winning formats and videos, and it's on you to remix things at the end of the day to come up with a better idea, stealing like an artist. Number four, use proven idea templates. Some ideas and formats just work, like the breakdown format we mentioned earlier with Patty Galloway and Ryan Matthews. I've already organized the best performing ones for you, so instead of wasting hours trying to reinvent the wheel, you can access them directly inside my private group for entrepreneurs. First link in the description. It's free. And before jumping into thumbnails, because they are part of what makes a great idea, trust me, they really go hand in hand. I wanna emphasize that the ideas, at least the concepts you come up with, or you adapt from the template I gave you, or from using oneof10.com, or just adapting a format you saw another guy in another niche do. Keep in mind that the idea or the concept should go hand in hand with your business and brand. And I know this is very simple, but I even notice it, like some people just, they get distracted along the way. And it's great to be reminded. And so I want to give an example. I'm helping this fitness coach, and we could make a lot of videos, obviously. But here's the thing. There's just some type of videos that, it's not really the time for them, or we shouldn't make at all. And the reason is we want to actually attract entrepreneurs and not just normal people. That's who we want to attract. And so, making videos like, oh, 13 years of fitness experience in 13 minutes, that's actually a great idea and it's a great format. But it's not the right time for it, at least like it's. And so focusing more on other ideas that, let's say, hint hint, taking a famous entrepreneur who is also jacked and replicating his routine or something like that. And that's an example. And another part of validating the ideas is that, first of all, like, this was the first step, is really checking with yourself, does this actually align with the business offer and like what we want to achieve? And second thing is, does it hit the three levels of viewers: the core, casual, and new? And so this is again very, very important, because here's the thing: most people watching your videos are new viewers. Do not assume that people actually watch your videos before. And so yes, there are videos that you could make, oh, these are more for conversion. But even if it's for conversion, think about it. Yeah, sure, people who watch the videos before, this video is better for them because this video is for conversion, for example, and it's like you try to maximize the conversion in it. But at the same time, think about it, like, the video should be also good for people who are just seeing it for the first time. And sometimes you can choose not to care, like, hey, yeah, I'm not making it for any new viewers, this is like for the dedicated people, blah blah blah. That's okay. Being intentional about it is good, but generally you want to hit the three levels of viewers, like core, casual, and new. And when you think about that, in a way, it's really good at frameworks to that will help you expand the way you think about ideas and help you make ideas, and not just or adapt ideas the right way, and not just like oh, whatever, like, do it in a dumb way. And so by expanding your thinking about, like, oh, core, casual, and new viewers, you'll start seeing ideas in a different fashion. Not like a fashion designer, but you know what I mean? So yeah, moving to thumbnails. The thumbnails. Another part of validating if an idea is actually good is actually the thumbnails. And these two really are inseparable. They go hand in hand. When planning content for myself or for others, I always make the thumbnails during the ideation phase. So, we come up with the ideas, and then the thing after you make the thumbnails. Even big creators like Mr. Beast do that. They make the thumbnail before they make the video. And the thumbnail must convey the idea clearly. It doesn't have to be fancy or over designed, actually. Like on YouTube, what matters is the clickability of the thumbnail. It doesn't matter if the thumbnail is fancy. That's the point I want to get across. So hiring actually a designer who is not a thumbnail designer is a waste of money and time, because he is a designer, not a thumbnail designer. He doesn't understand the philosophy and what makes people click. And thumbnails are a big part of YouTube, even with now that exists autoplay. The video plays automatically after a few, just a few seconds of looking at the video. They are still very important. There was a study done by Netflix, and I remember they were taking a look at like how much time people look at thumbnails on Netflix, and they noticed that it takes like less than a second for people to make a decision or to look at the thumbnail, to be specific. And please, I beg you, don't make the thumbnails look like a Facebook post, please. However, luckily for you, we're at a point where there are already many proven YouTube thumbnail formats you can steal yourself. Let's go through them. The Twitter thumbnail, the graph thumbnail, the before and after thumbnail, another before and after thumbnail, another before and after thumbnail, the split screen thumbnail, the other split screen thumbnail, the detective thumbnail. You get the point. And if you don't want to spend hours figuring out this stuff on your own, the thumbnails that I've just shown you are part of a thumbnail system with over 30 Canva templates. I mean, these are not templates done by Canva, but they are on Canva, ready to use and easy. And as you saw, these are no low quality either. So yeah, just for fun, have you ever seen this type of thumbnail on YouTube? Maybe yes, maybe no, but I hate it and it bothers me. And it's mostly because people either don't know any better or simply because they already have the premium subscription on Canva and they use it. And oh my god, look at this thing, and it's in part of the premium plan. This thing is ugly. Ugh. No, not gonna lie, this is a crime against humanity, and you gotta have the premium plan to get this. Like, what a shame. So, not only with the thumbnails I've shown you, there are even more free thumbnails that are not only also high quality, but ready to use and easy. But there's also like the idea template, the content calendar, and strategy inside my private group for entrepreneurs. First link in the description. So yeah, Exhibit C. Now that you've got your ideas template, your thumbnail templates, and your foundation, or you skipped through them earlier, I don't know. It's time to see what's already out there and more like analyze it. Because here's the thing, no matter your educational niche, there's one thing I'm sure about. Most content isn't actionable, and that's your opportunity. Think about it. How many videos have you watched that actually gave you tangible, applicable advice? Not many, right? It's kind of like the self development industry that is full with advice and it's just more like meant to sell you more courses and stuff. But I know you're a good guy and you really want to change people's lives. And the thing is, we are moving more towards the actionable content. I had a call with my mentor who is actually one of the perfect audiences for me to attract on YouTube. And so I asked him like, what type of content would you like to watch? Because I want like outsider perspective on what type of videos. And I asked him like, do you actually like watch types of these types of videos like concerning like videos about YouTube and stuff? Kind of like. And he said like no. And he mentioned an example by education videos in general. So like now like he knows like a lot of videos don't really give any actionable advice. They just like fluff, kind of like just circling around. And so like he could simply use ChatGPT, like you copy the transcript and use ChatGPT to get the tangible advice. And I remember he said something like, "This doesn't really give anything." He asked ChatGPT from to give him like tangible advice from a video he copied, and like it didn't really give him anything or something like that. And funny enough, because I'm helping him with his content, like he is starting to notice patterns. Like when he watches video and like he starts noticing like scripting patterns. Like in the intro, for example, it's like, "Oh, if you want to get this, watch till the end of the video," and he's like, "Man, this is some bull crap." And so, yeah, we are moving towards more actionable content and people are getting aware. And so, actually, knowing that, and probably your niche is probably in a similar fashion since it's education, you'll be better than most by mixing theory with actual advice. Or if it's at least more theory, use the rule of less is more. This is very, very important. So look at people who are similar to you in the space and notice the patterns in their thumbnails, the advice they give, how their videos are edited. And so, for example, we usually endorse about this video and let's keep him. He's just like a great example. He didn't run the channel himself, by the way, so he had a team. He hired like different people, just to be specific. So yeah, in the productivity niche, most people give bro science, kind of like just the fitness space. Yeah, what I mean by that is like people don't really give like tangible, scientifically backed advice. in the productivity, and they noticed the same pattern in the fitness space. And they also noticed that Jeff Never making scientifically backed fitness videos worked well for him. And so they doubled down more into being this scientifically backed channel, like flow state. Not to say that everything they say is scientifically backed. That's another point to argue about, but yeah, it worked for them. And that's part of what made them actually stand out. And one thing, don't overthink it. You probably already know the type of content that exists in your space. And so you have a sense of what's already out there. Just be more intentional in terms of like analyzing it and like noticing the patterns. Just simple pattern recognition. And so ask yourself in return, how can you do it differently and how can you stand out? And use your unfair advantage. It could be something you've done, something you've built or achieved that others haven't, or you're building it. It's kind of like, for example, like me. I'm kind of like one of the type of person who is building my empire along the way. But I still have, I still have experience started making videos since I was 10. And now I'm helping entrepreneurs. Like I'm still young. So like, yeah, I'm sexy. I know that. Yeah. Or the stories behind achieving such thing, any client stories or any of that, that works well. And remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. You can adjust as you go. You develop viewer analysis. This step isn't absolutely necessary because if you apply what we've done so far and what we've discussed from the templates I've shared with you to the, having a good foundation and like analyzing competitors, you'll be in good shape. However, this is more like a bonus that you can that you can apply fairly quickly. So once you know what's out there, you can do a little viewer analysis. The problems your audience face, and generally, like the best way is just like if you know your business, you're the type of people, your clients or the people you've had discovery calls with and all of that, and through that you try to get pieces of content from them by knowing what they want to know and like what their problems are. And so look for problems the competitors are ignoring or under or and so for example, in a niche close to me, YouTube script writing, a lot of guys struggle with how they have this problem of like people don't know how to script their videos. And so some channels saw that unmet demand and took advantage of it. And they became like the scripting channels on YouTube. They help you just with scripting, and that's really good. That was a gap in the space and they capitalized on it. And one thing you can check the competitors community tab section and check the polls and the questions that they've done. Generally, the polls are good to know, like, these people will generally ask questions like, what problems do you have ideas, editing, thumbnails, something like that, and you can just click, participate yourself, why not? And the data, see actual data and percentages, and like you can also read the comments from these community posts, which really can reveal what people care about. Exhibit D, scripting. Scripting is one of the most underrated skills on YouTube, yet it is very, very important. And it's the kind of skill that can literally generate millions. Like those Imagaji type of videos, please editor me, show some b-roll. You're probably showing some b-roll, okay? Good job, editor me. And yeah, the thing is, you don't have to fully script your videos word for word, but whether you do that or not, you must have an outline. So just having an outline is really, really good. And yeah, it's kind of like a roadmap for you. Switch to the template, bro. And so when it comes to scripting, it's fairly simple. You really want to focus first on the intro. And so there are different ways to make the intro. There are different formulas and all that stuff. I actually want to start with the first one. So this is in the templates I give you in my private group. But like this is close to the formula that Alex Hormozy, the $100 million guy, uses his proof, promise, plan. This is like still one of the best ways to do things around here. Proof, promise, plan, but detailing it from a more like, let's say, content creator perspective. You want to think of it as matching the packaging by restating what the video is about. So you confirm. The reason is a lot of people click on the video, not sure if they want to still continue watching the video or not. And so it's good. It's using it as a filter to get the people who wanted to watch the video and remove their uncertainty to a degree. And the people who didn't want, it's okay. They can go. And so then you describe their pain or the bad stuff this will help them avoid. And then like what this video about, in this video I'll explain blah blah blah. And then your authority. And you own a $1 billion company, whatever. That's like your authority. Now, I could get into details. You could start flipping it around, like starting with the authority. Hey, my name is Bujima. I own a $700 million company in the Middle East. You can do that. There are many formulas, but to keep it simple for everybody, you either use this or use this proof promise plan. You start with a proof and you still want to like make the video related to, to the promise. You start with a proof. The proof isn't necessarily authority, but you could be like, oh, I helped this guy make $10,000 in 3 months. So that's an example. And like the promise is, I'll walk you through the exact system I taught him that so that you can achieve the same result. And the plan is more like visual. It could be a simple text, number one, number two, number three, or it could be icons. It creates some people know like what the roadmap is like and what this video is about. And so yeah, that's good. And people who have been using it in marketing a lot, and even Alex Hermosi uses it in marketing and even in this. And so yeah, for the other part of scripting, it's simply like you can have the bullet points and talk naturally, or use the why, what, and how formula. And so like you start with the idea. So point number one, you open the loop. We're gonna start with thinking of an example. Oh my god, my brain is freezing. Anyways, you start with one point, then you explain why, what, and how. Now, to be honest, yeah, this is good for scripting, but you can just like have normal outlines like point one, point two, point three, and like just ramble and like freestyle it. You can do that. You can try that. You can try what works for you. If you like your videos to be more scripted, you can try that. It's more of a preference. For me, I can like, I don't respect the script 100%. And at the same time, I have no problem like having a video that is like not, scripted, and it's just like outline and I can freestyle it. And so I'm comfortable with both. And as you can see, I'm freestyling right now because like I'm sharing them your screen and everything. And so yeah, you can get this template in the group, and yeah, you can join it first link in the description. One thing to really, really keep in mind is always give more value per second. This is very, 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 very important. And I cannot stress how much important this is. Remove all the BS, unnecessary fluff. Think of it like, does this really, does the viewer really, really need it? We are not here to make lectures. We are here to give people transformations. This is not a lecture. Hopefully, you don't feel it's like a lecture. So, yeah, I'm funny and sexy. Yeah. You can compare 1 hour video with 1 hour of content compared to 30 minutes of video with the same value. So focus on more value per second ratio. The second video is more engaging. One thing to keep in mind, do not give value for the sake of value. There is this thing out there. It's like, oh, give more value. That is the thing. Give more value per line. In a vacuum, value means nothing. And actually, this video, I ended up trimming some stuff because like I was like, yeah, this is too long. It's like you don't really need it. And so I've done it. I'd rather have remove, kill the content that I wrote rather than be like, oh no, but I spent too much effort. At the end, you're gonna end up losing if you go with that mentality. People don't care about your effort. That's just the sad reality about it. People care and judge the book by its cover, so use that to your advantage. Duh. Stop arguing. If you want the ultimate shortcut, grab my all-in-one content calendar with scripting template. It guides you through everything, titles and full script. Perfect plug and play. Essentially, it's essentially a plug and play system. First look at the description, and the other templates are also there. Exhibit E. So now that you have your outline and hook locked in, it's time to bring it to life. Yay! This is the part where most people could actually get stuck, and thinking about filming and editing as some these huge tasks. I mean, I understand, even though I'm someone who came from a creator background, but there's a way to make it easier. So just pick a day per week where you like to record the videos. Ideally, you want to record at least 2 videos like I'm doing right now. So yeah, I mean, between 2 to 5, I mean, 5 is going to be a lot. To me, I think the maximum I've done is like 4. I've done in the past, like filming a very, very, very long documentary type of video. I think it was, yeah, it was 3 hours, like one. So that was hard. So yeah, by doing that, you simply save time, like obviously. And one thing about filming is that you'd like the environment to have as minimum friction as possible. And so, for example, if you already have a tripod, like have it ready on your desk so that you just put your phone or camera and be ready for that. The lighting, you don't really need the lighting in the beginning, but if you have it, don't just put it somewhere else or remove it like a salt box in its place. For the lighting, actually, if you don't have a softbox, it's no problem. You could just use the lighting from the window. Ideally, you want to record early morning so that like the lighting is good and decent. Sort of, and also it's angled like at a 90 degree. Ideally, it should be like at a 45 degree. But who has their desk angled at a 45 degree from the window? That just like sounds stupid. But yeah, if you decide to have a softbox, ideally like you want to have that out of this 45 degree. And for the editing, the first solution is just, hire an editor, like save time and hire an editor. But the other problem you'll find is finding a competent editor to make the stuff you want. And since you don't have the editing experience, I understand you could want some fancy editing stuff, but then you could be like, oh, wait, this is expensive, which is like, I mean, I understand why you could see, for example, $150 edit expensive. I say I understand. This doesn't mean I agree, but I understand. Yeah, like the content industry isn't cheap, so yeah. But to be honest, like if you're spending money on content, like editing is really good in terms of saving you time. This doesn't mean the video will be a banger, because there are all these other elements we discussed. Like just filming the video makes a difference, the thumbnail makes a difference, so, and the ideas and everything, and like there are all these variables. But if you'd like to save time, hire an editor. Will they be good? Probably not. There are a lot of editors out there, and most of them are not good. Like generally, this is the content industry. There are a lot of people, but finding the good people, yeah, that's hard. I remember like spending like a day or a day and a half, like I think it was a full day, just looking for an editor myself. And funny enough, if you know how to edit like really well and storytell and all that stuff, it's gonna be harder for you to find the right editor, because you actually understand what good editing is like. And that, that's this funny thing I thought about mentioning. So yeah, but other than that, using AI, there's this app called Glink. I ended up upgrading to the yearly subscription. I think it's $125 per year. I don't remember, but yeah, I paid it anyway, because like for me it's better that way. And yeah, it helps you like remove the gaps and stuff that most people like need, like the mistakes and gaps, and it's simple. And I have a problem with it. I don't know, in the beginning it was good, but now it's like it just like really bad at detecting mistakes. Like I don't know, but it just like frustrates me if I'm using this app to save time, which like it still saves me a lot of time, don't get me wrong, for simple editing. Now for more editing, I actually use DaVinci Resolve, and I gotta say it has a learning curve. Like I remember like 4 years ago, when, or 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, who remembers, like I first pulled up this editing software, and it's like really seemed intimidating, and it looks intimidating. So just use simply simple like CapCut. Like it works. I mean, the pro subscription in CapCut also has the removing mistakes and the gaps and mistakes, as far as I know. So yeah, that's something cool. So yeah, for audio editing, one thing, there is this software. It's called auphonic.com, and it's really really good. I even use it. So good, like for sound editing. Like they have their pre-made settings, like removing sound, remove clean background, whatever. You could check over those. And yeah, but remember, like if you have the basics done right, like the goal and strategy, ideas, thumbnails, and you know what's out there, so that you capitalize on a gap in the space, the editing could be simple for most people. I mean, unless your channel really relies on editing for it to be good. That way, it's probably not an educational channel. That's more like entertainment channel. And so yeah, for the resources like workflows, systems, thumbnail templates, what else? The strategy template for competitor analysis and everything, the content calendar, and having the chance to have a free consultation call with me to help you with your exact problems. This is something I really like to do, and I believe it wouldn't be so far-fetched if I said it's really even more important than the resources I've shared in this video. And so yeah, to get the resources, just click the link below, first link in the description, to join my group. There are other entrepreneurs already there, and you can contribute to the group yourself.